Hello, we are the Finance Boys. My name is Bryson.
I'm Preston, and today we're going to be talking about passive versus active investing. First of all, why should someone even invest in the first place?
Investing is pretty much the act of making your money make money for you. So you're putting your money to work. This can just lead
Yeah,
reaching your goals faster in life.
some of these goals can include retirement, buying a car, buying a home, just anything in the future that you need more money for.
Um, why investing is better than just putting your money in a savings account. You can see on the bottom is the graph of your money in a savings account, where it's just earning a set income each year, kind of matching inflation almost, or maybe like not matching inflation. Whereas on the top, the orange graph, you can see your money exponentially growing because your money is making money on top of itself. So the money you earn is making more money for you. Um, so that's how you can make much more money from compound interest of investing.
Next, I'm going to talk about the benchmark and how it relates to passive investing, which is one of the types of investing we're going to cover today. The benchmark is commonly an index. These indexes could be the S&P 500. And these basically are reference points for the market. When you use these reference points, you can see whether a stock is doing good or doing bad. Furthermore, you can reference your portfolio as a whole, see if your portfolio is growing in a trend that follows the S&P or maybe even higher than the S&P. When it comes to passive investing, you're going to be, like I said, following these indexes. Um, Similar to S&P 500, we have the Dow Jones Industrial Average. When you're passive investing, your goal is to follow the benchmark. This means you're not going to be finding any excellent returns. You're not going to be making crazy amounts of money. However, if you let your money sit for a long period of time, you're very likely to end up with higher income in the end. As you can see, there are many dips, many fluctuations in this graph. However, overall, it's looking up.
Yeah, like Preston said, these index funds, these main big index funds, kind of just represent the overall market's health. This is why, as a young person, getting into passive investing should be a top priority because if you're able to put your money in early, it will grow much more over time. Because, like I said, or like Preston said, with passive investing, you're not making huge returns, but over time they stack up a lot. So time is the most powerful tool for an investor. A benefit of passive investing is that you have lower fees because each time you make a transaction on these investing platforms, they're actually taking a fee. But passive investing, you're rarely moving your money around. You're letting it sit, so um, you don't face as many fees. Uh, this is really beneficial to people who don't have as much money going into it, where these fees can actually be detrimental.
Yeah. So essentially, once you're at a later stage in life and you've kind of understood the market, you've done your research, you should be well equipped with a higher portfolio of higher value. With this portfolio, you're able to interact in active investing. Active investing requires high skill and good understanding of the market. Um, Despite it being very high skill, any person can do this as long as they pay attention to the market. Commonly in active investing, your goal is to beat the benchmark, which we referenced in the prior type of investing.
Um, the way active investors measure whether or not they're beating the benchmark is called alpha returns. And alpha returns are the amount of money you're making on top of the benchmark. Um, some of the benefits of active investing are that you can make humongous returns, and some of the biggest investors that you've heard about are active investors that take chances on companies and make huge returns. So active investing is pretty much the idea of buy low, sell high.
Furthermore, different from passive investing, when you're active investing, the choice of what you buy is really yours. Meaning, when you're passive investing, your money stays in the index for a long period of time. However, in active investing, if you see an undervalued company or fluctuations in the market, you can take this time to capitalize and create huge returns and as a result. Um, However, with these high transaction rates and lots of changes in the market, you're going to be met with higher transaction fees.
Another downside to active investing is that obviously you can't predict the market. So it comes with much higher risk. And in a way, it's kind of gambling. So you can easily lose your money actively investing, which is why um, after fees and taxes are uh, applied, um, active investors rarely make more than passive investors in the long run.
A long-lasting debate among investors has been should they assume a passive or active investing approach? In the end, there really is no right answer, for this is based off of the investor themselves.
If the investor has lots of time or focus on their hands, maybe active investing might be a better approach for them, as they're able to keep up with the markets, studying spreadsheets, balance statements, and uh, as well as what's happening maybe with the specific company. So, does that company have a big deal coming up? Maybe you want to invest in them because uh, their stock could rise, or if the government is going to start spending more on military, maybe you want to invest in Lockheed Martin because you know that would benefit them. So it's really just about active investing is about focusing and studying market trends as well as the individual companies that you're investing in to see um, the optimal trades that might make you the most money.
On the other hand, passive investing appeals to people who might be, working a job in school and don't have really time to focus on their investments. When you invest in an index fund, you're most likely to face higher returns over a longer period of time. This means you can keep your hands off your investments. You're not going to be moving around a lot, but you're going to be making money in the background. All in all, both of these methods are much more beneficial than keeping it in a savings deposit. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something new. We'll catch you next week.